Welcome to part 2 of Heart-Centered Living with Alana Kay and Reverend Lorraine Barrie. In part 1 on Heart-Centered Living, we talked about how Maui is often considered the heart chakra of the planet, along with discussions on benefits of heart-centered living.
And so getting back to being selfish, that's gotten a negative connotation, and the world is filled with people who aren't selfish enough to be happy.
That's a good way to look at it.
And it's like what it's like each person out there, as you were saying, is they're a unique drop in this vast ocean, and each of us is very special. And one of the things that I think underlies so much of our sadness on this planet is generation keeps giving the same habits and mind thoughts, and people haven't been exposed to other wonderful possibilities. And one of the things that's the most common is self-hatred. Is just jumped from one generation to the next, and people who hate themselves aren't happy. And it's like in the old adage, those people hurt people hurt people. So you don't hurt somebody if you like yourself. If you love yourself, you can't do it because it hurts. It hurts you. So when you're turning that hurt outward, it's actually hurt you're trying not to feel. And so each one of you, each one of us is perfect. And no, I am not. Well, there you go. Well, whatever you tell yourself is what your subconscious is going to play back out to you. So that unique person that can do certain things that nobody else can do in a particular combination on this planet. That's who you are. Nobody else is like you. And when you were born, and that little soul seed that is your true essence in there is there. And it is perfect, and there's nothing to be fixed. And so much we think we have to get fixed. We've all this damage and all this kind of stuff because of all of these layers and layers and years of this negative programming and not valuing the self, because we're not taught to. We're not taught to love ourselves. Some are.
Yes, some are. And then I've met some examples, and we were talking about a famous person on the island too, where they were encouraged in their talent all their life and ended up having self-hatred because the way that they had designed it, it wasn't true to their soul. So that's why it's really a solo journey, because only the individual really knows what's true to their soul in any given moment. And like I was going to make sure we got to say before we get going on this is that we all do have special gifts and talents. I truly believe that. I meet people who say, "Oh, you're so talented," or that's just because I've embraced it and gone with it. You have talents. Everybody does. Or they'll say you're creative. We all are. When you get into your heart-centered life, you're going to start feeling these gifts bubbling through. I just want to get back to what you were just saying, is we will be talking about how to do some self-help on the things where you feel hung up that you're not doing. Like, a lot of people do know what they want to explore or what's in the heart, but something stops them. So we're going to help with that. We're going to go through some exercises on how to identify some of those things for yourself. Okay, but everybody has it. We're all a lot more than we've been led to believe, and that's just the way society has been, and we want to let go of that because this is a new time. A lot of times I thought to myself, gee, I'm only really starting my life in my 60s, and like, dang, if I had parents that supported who I was when I was younger. But when I look around, even people who are talented, it almost doesn't make a difference. You know, it's self-guided, and you get to the point where you realize it can only come from you. I stopped and talked to an artist last night. I thought to myself, does she care about anything else while she's painting this picture? No, you can't. In order to create and bring a lot of the things that people came here to bring forth, you have to. I love the way you said that. That was perfect. You said people aren't selfish enough to be happy, and that's where you start. And that's what A Course in Miracles says. The problem is not with the world. The problem is with that you are hating yourself and you're projecting that on the world. And it is so shadow a lot of times. I mean, I even caught something the other day, even though I'm pretty much in the clear the last few, 10, 15 years of my life, but I caught something the other day that still was there. My family I had a big family, and they all had a different opinion who they thought I should be and what I should be doing. And it's really funny because one time I caught it and I said, you know what, why don't you guys have a meeting? Instead of you all coming to me individually and telling me who I am, why don't you all get together and you decide, and then when you know who, then you come and tell me. So it's basically the world is just full of projections. So there's not much you can do about other people that are projecting on you. What you have to do is really get to know who you really are, and only you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to just let go of the people that were projecting on you because they don't know any better. And also, the stronger you, something told me years ago, this time period in your life is hold that thought, no, is to build your mana. In Hawaii, your mana is your life force. And I thought, oh yeah, because I'm always spending it.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person, fill up my cup, go outside and, or I burn myself out with a job or whatever I'm doing. And it said, build your mana, and I get that. It's like my energy just kept building and building. And now what I noticed is the more I build it, of course, the quicker I can get back to center, the less somebody else can dismantle it with their behavior. The more it guides me, the bigger my downloads are, the more clear my mind is, the more the world doesn't fool me. And so it's been a daily of connecting to my breath and connecting to earth and grounding. We're going to talk about that. And that's probably a good time to talk about that. Is that where we're going to bring this in? About how you align with that. And it'll start small. And I remember feeling it smaller. And then you keep building that.
Yeah, so people are kind of out there and thinking, okay, how does this apply to me?
Yeah.
And that is the question. That's the beautiful, beautiful
we're
question.
Gonna help you
that's
we're
why. That's why.
that.
Yeah, yeah, because we've been doing this for. Oh, we won't talk about how many decades we've been here, but it's like we've been doing it for a while, and it's like okay, now it's wax on, wax off. It's like okay, let's go. Yeah, and it does take. It just takes.
Like practice. You really do. It's endless.
And it's not a pill. Well, sometimes it is, like I take supplements, so it's sometimes, but it's not a pill. It's not an overnight thing. It's not, I want to get to this other thing and hit the goal line. No, it's about being.
And every day.
And it's not about getting somewhere. It's about tuning into the journey and how that journey feels. And the first day is like, it isn't like, everything's going to be different tomorrow. No, it's like you get on and you do your best that day. And say you're trying to quit junk food. And it was like, so you start to research on the internet what's actually healthy to put in your body. You take it on physical, hand to the hand and foot on the ground, everyday work. You used to
all
apply
the different aspects of life you use to
actually do things. You do what you do to try to do something. So you think, okay, what is it? What's a good example? Something I want to change.
For me, quitting smoking. I had to learn how to breathe and be.
So what started that was one day something triggered in you and you decided, it was something inside of you, whether you just got, something just pushed you and I'm going to stop smoking. I really mean it.
Well, actually what I did is I gave myself a year to quit. And I started eliminating, I think this is a good approach. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
This is a good approach to quitting a lot of habits.
Yes.
As I had tried many times, I would throw it at a number of maybe 30 times I tried to quit.
Yeah.
And I'd do really good for a couple days and then I'd snap back. So what I decided was, and I was a 2-pack a day smoker. So I said, I feel like I'm in this totally different world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit smoking activity by activity. Meaning I will no longer, I smoked when I was gardening. I'm no longer going to smoke in the car. I'm not going to smoke in the house. And I'm not going to smoke when I'm gardening. And then I started eliminating certain activities. So I gave myself several months to quit. And then when I got down to 10 cigarettes a day, that's from 40 cigarettes down to 10.
Yeah.
That's when I jumped. But I got used to driving without smoking. I got used to gardening without smoking. You see what I'm saying?
That's one of the most beautiful examples I've ever heard, because the whole
People try to do everything cold turkey.
Cold turkey, you cannot, because our brains we almost hardwire our stuff,
we do,
from childhood trauma, all kinds of stuff. One of mine, or maybe my biggest, was over 30 years ago now. It was sugar. And
sugar's a big one for people.
Yeah, and it's like I don't like alcohol particularly. Drugs, like, they make me feel bad. And it was like, so I had just a vacuum of emotion in my life from the people around me and the energy that was flowing at that time when I was younger. And so I just had no place for joy, no place to find joy. So it was sugar.
Was it. Yeah, and that's what addictions are normally. Addictions are normally replacing something.
So when my body tried to leave, because I was so ill, because I didn't know anything about nutrition, and I just like that sugar high, and there was caffeine was in there too. No, which is coffee, and anyway, that was even harder than sugar. And so coffee's not bad. It's the caffeine. Well, we won't get into that right now. And so, but my nervous system was already so damaged from the 24-hour a day job I had, kind of what it felt like, and everything. I was never resting enough. I wasn't eating right. I didn't know any of this stuff.
I've done that too.
I was just idjit, as the Irish will say, the idjit. And it was like, sorry, I'm sorry. So this was back in the day when if you couldn't take a drug for it or couldn't cut it out, it was in your head. So nobody believed I was dying, and here I was. I couldn't stay awake for more than 2 hours a day, and then it felt like I was crawling through a sewer tunnel when I was awake.
A lot of people feel like that now.
It felt terrible.
Yeah.
So I just sat down, and I just said, "Show me the way." Show me the way. And I opened the phone book, and I went, show me the way, and I went, and you have to mean it, and you have to do the work. No one else can do it for you. And I opened the telephone book. This was way before the internet, and I went to the yellow pages under physicians, and and then my finger landed, and there was like this one guy, and he was like this tiny little part of doctors who dealt with allergies. That was all they would admit it was back then. So I called this guy, and he saved my life. He said, "Lorraine, you have to stop eating sugar." And it was like my emotional body would plummet so badly when I didn't have the sugar, so I had to take it piecemeal. It took me years.
Your body is used to certain, the programming, and that's why people snap back.
Because you're chemically not at choice. You're chemically not at choice yet.
Yeah, and it takes a while, so you have to be persistent. So how it applies to everybody else is understanding that we all have it. I hope we touched on that enough, that everybody has it inside of them. You're all gifted. Everybody has joy inside of them, and it can't be faked. You can fake it till you make it if you want to. I was going to say that before. I was going to say sometimes if I just can't find my center and I don't have the ocean to jump into or whatever, I'll just say, I am love, I am love. And as a matter of fact, on my website, alanak.com, I have the link to a YouTube video that is a meditation about I am love. And I walk you through that process of exiting all of the stuff of the matrix and the way the world is, and going back to your center where you are love. Because at your core, you are love. Your soul is love. God is love. I love, the other thing I love from the Bible is 1 John 4:16, for those who want to look it up. It's God is love, and he who abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. And I'm like, if nothing else is said, that's like the Beatles said, all you need is love. So we're going to go into a couple, and then we'll wrap this one up, and we'll flesh out, there's so many things that we touched on. So we will be doing more shows on all the different aspects. We're going to talk about developing your intuition and really the process of getting centered. We're both going to give what we use as our own centering exercises, and once again, it doesn't have to be mastered right away. Some people are going to be able to go to a yoga class or do a breathing meditation and just be able to snap right in, and some people are going to struggle, and there's going to be things like, let's say you want to access love and joy inside yourself, and something keeps saying, yeah, but the world's a really gnarly place. You know, those are the things you want to be aware of. So if you're going to go through this journey, it's important to constantly be slowing down, not multitasking, because in order to be guided and to heal, those are part of the tools you're going to need to learn. The New Age is teaching people those things all the time. So if you need help with that, there's just countless, there's millions of YouTube videos on how to slow down your mind, how to get centered. And I also wanted to express that I feel that the New Age, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anything. I'm just saying that I feel that the New Age has, in a lot of cases, has led people to feel that spirituality is about manifesting things, you know, the big house, the big job, the most amazing relationship. And what spirituality in my mind and what I teach and what my intuitive readings are guided to is helping you understand your authentic self. And that, to me, that's all the riches in the world, and that's my perspective. It's not, you know, it does make getting things a lot easier, but a lot of times that has to do with healing a certain aspect. So we're both gonna give some our centering techniques, and I've used these in group classes. I've used mine. It has to do with following your breath and seeing where it's like getting stuck. So if you do it and you don't feel this tremendous inner peace, that's just showing you where the blockages are, and then you just pick one thing at a time, you know, like, wow, it's hitting right here, and I think what I'm feeling is that's my self-esteem. Okay, well, the first thing that jumps to your mind when you're trying to reach your peaceful center is probably the thing you might want to start looking at. And then we're going to teach you in the next episode how you tap into, how you know if you're being led and guided, and how to tap into your own inner guidance about your healing your journey and guiding you on your journey. We'll do that in the next show. So we're going to do this. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. If you are, fine. You know, and a lot of people, they use nature as to return to center and balance, and I do that. I start and end my day with my feet on the ground, and I recommend that everybody watch, and I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or on YouTube, I think it's Netflix, the Earthing movie.
Yeah.
It's so vital to getting through this time period on the planet, because it's been left out of what we've been taught. The ancient peoples and the indigenous peoples lived connected to Earth, and our modern life can keep us any distance from being connected to Earth. A lot of people spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week in an office, so on and so forth. So on Maui, we have the benefit of having a lot of raw nature here, and we can use that to connect, and people here do indeed use that to connect if they're in the know. So I don't know who's going to go first. We're each going to introduce what our grounding and centering, like to start your day, end your day, or just to get back on course when you feel off, or to initiate the healing journey. One more thing I want to repeat and emphasize that you and I talked about the other day, and we touched on it, is that, well, how do I do this? Once you intend, it's always about intention, and once you intend to do this, your soul has been sitting there all your life waiting for you to make that decision to follow the soul, and your soul is going to be going, and all your, if you believe in angels and your whatever, but remember that your soul is your number one guide. The other ones aren't there to replace that. But the intent to do so will create that opening, and your soul will guide you to the people, things, and events and everything that are going to create the healing journey and restore you to your authentic self. But there is the care every day of the body, mind, you know, that whole thing. And alignment, so we'll do a whole show on that too. So anyway, do you want to do your, say anything about that, and then say your centering thing that you do?
Yeah, so you were talking about listening to your soul, and I keep seeing this picture of an artist and a corporate exec. And we need
thank you. That we had to talk about this.
And
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
what floats your boat? What makes you happy? Do you just love doing taxes and working with people's money? Or do you
very good.
love
Yeah.
to take care of animals? I mean, we need them all. And
Everything.
it's
Every
where
aspect.
you have that joy. And then when people are with you, you give your gifts to them through that. So the first step is in just loving the moment where you're at. And just, you don't have to, I mean, love, what's love? It's like, we
We'll
have
get
this.
into that.
Yeah, okay, we'll get into that. It can, yeah, it's like sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, sometimes it's a hard boundary. Love is what actually is of service. What is actually of service to others, to you,
And
and
it can
to
be
the whole.
anything.
And it can be anything.
Anything.
So what is that thing that just absolutely empowers you to think about and feels wonderful? So start with a point like that.
Go to love first.
And I may not know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And well, what the heck? Who cares? It's like, well, we care, but it's like, I may not know, but it doesn't matter. This is.
Your soul knows
This
who you are.
this
so
is
just-
this I am. I am, those powerful words, I am. And if it's all you can say, and it
that's
has
all
to
you-
be true for you. I am.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be your truth. And at the same time I was breaking my sugar addiction, I was with a teacher who taught me I was with her a lot of years, and to heal myself. And as I was letting go of the sugar, I also had to deal with the emotional part that came up, the emotional pain that I was masking. And it was a daily practice.
Yeah, you got to work on it. Yeah.
And with each step you
Yeah.
do, that's the greatest expression of love there is, to start doing what you actually need.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love is like,
Yeah.
this is what I need to do to get back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we all start, it's like stage fright. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what it's like. And that's that void. We call it the void. And yet paradoxically, it's where everything is. So start with that. And maybe you're working through an addiction. Maybe you're not. Maybe but all of it came for me over a 5 and 10 year period. And it was like all this practicing I did. And the first thing is I would take my shoes off. And you don't have, yeah, that's right. But,
Don't try this at home.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want anyone to get.
Unless your feet are clean.
Yeah, whatever, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So you want to be sitting in a chair with your feet on the ground, comfortably, spine straight, and your head straight up. You don't do this lying down, because then the energy's not flowing. It's like we're all electrical systems, and this is part of what we're doing is grounding as we do this. You know, if you know anything about electricity, a little machine, there's your cord will have that third little
Yeah.
sprocket. That's for grounding.
That's what
So
grounding.
that excess energy comes out and doesn't fry your hairdryer or your stove or something.
Grounding is mean you're electrically connecting to Earth.
Yes, and
It's not a punishment.
and this is part of how this all starts, and it's okay. I'm in addition to being clairvoyant, I'm clairaudient. I literally have like little thoughts go through my head, and so I'm supposed to say, now I forgot because I got sidetracked. Sorry. Anyway. So I hear, I see, I know, it kind of a lot of things kind of talk to me at once, and sometimes I have to just stop and breathe. See, I'm doing it right in front of you right now. I got a little off track. Now, how do I get back? How do I get back? I just put my feet on the ground and I breathe. But ground is the first step. Grounding is the first step, because whenever you move, whenever you breathe, whenever you think, you are bringing energies through you. through your body, through your head, but it's going into your body. So you may be in a place where there's a bunch of just weird energy. And so if you're grounded, it's going to ground it right out of you so that you're not holding on to it. Like stuck energy could create diseases, dis-ease.
Yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah. And it's like, so you ground. And just ground. And it's like, what's grounding? Have you ever sat on a rock, like a big piece of granite, or had your feet just stuck in the mud, and you just feel this kind of sense of, oh, that's grounding. And and I just practice like just anchoring into the center of the earth through my coccyx, through my first chakra, right up the base of my rear. And letting it all. And it takes, some people are like, oh, I got it. Some people, it takes 10 years. I mean, it's like, just keep at it every day, because this is your gift to you. And the key word is gift.
Start the day this way. It's really good to start the day.
Yes, especially, and then program your day for this, and then it's lovely to, before you go to sleep, to do it, so that
I make sure.
So it's like maybe start with 5 minutes, go to 10, 15, whatever. So you put your feet on the ground and you sit straight, you ground, you don't have your hands touching each other because you're an electrical system. You want the flow to just be unimpeded. And ground, and we can go later on practicing that, but not today. And breathe. And 3 deep breaths, breathe into your diaphragm. And now those are the first 2 most important steps. And then before I do that, I just check my auric field and I make sure it's around me. It should be like a big egg. When you're by yourself, it can go out far. When you're in public, just maybe 18 inches, because you don't want people walking through your energy field. That's why we have personal distancing. Not just
the same as COVID.
I know. You caught us like, you got it. Anyway, so so fill that, and that should be a perfect egg shape all around under your feet, above your head, very strong. You can fill it with colors that make you feel happy. Grounding should always be dark colors, not black, not muddy colors, but remember, it's light. Grounding is the lower part of your body. Your body's made of earth. It wants to
connect. It's negative ions. That's negative ions.
Yeah. So when I do grounding, where I will picture like from the core of the earth, I picture light coming up, and I picture kind of like maybe the color of the little redwood needle, those beautiful little brackets they have, that very deep green, maybe with a little bit root beer brown. That's my favorite. And then you don't want anything real heavy and dark because it's still a body, but you don't want anything light because then you're going to float off. Yeah, you got to stay grounded to the earth. So you bring the light. I just figure like little turbines in my feet. Just bring that up through my calves and my knees and into my legs, and then right into my lower part of my body. And I don't bring it higher than that because we're earth beings and spirit beings. So we're talking about the earth part now. And then I just let it turn like a horseshoe. Then that energy, my feet are turbining up. In fact, there's chakras all throughout your body, not just the 7 big ones we talk about.
Right.
And then I let it go out through my coccyx, my first chakra, right at the base of the spine, back out into the earth. So I've got this beautiful redwood kind of colored, redwood green. Oh, I can feel it, and my feet are starting to tingle, and I think they're just doing that for you because I just kind of do this 24/7 now. But it's like, let it just go through the feet and back down into the earth, and then let that energy just run. It's clearing you out just as you do that, even if you can't go any further. Keep breathing.
What you think is, that's the thing. We're used to that. If you're thinking it's a color, it is. You are actually, your mind is creating that color, that energy.
Yeah, and that's why each of us gets to do this a little different, but there's some basic ground rules. It's like we're going to want to breathe oxygen, not ammonia. It's like, it's like there's basic rules. And so then I start the breathing, and the breathing is a pump. And then you just say, okay, well, I've got this energy running through this lower part of my body, grounding me, clearing me out. Oh, it feels so good, and it's very comforting. And but I don't have to think about it now because I've got other things I've got to focus on. And focus is the magic word. Whatever we focus on increases. Whatever we focus on, we create in our life. So I'm breathing, and now you're just going to think, I'm breathing, and I've just told my body to automatically run this energy. It's going to keep doing it because I'm going to do other things, and check my auric field again, and oh, I just want to fill it out. I got a little...
I like waving my hands through.
Yeah, like this auric field around me.
Love, love, love.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, I haven't cleaned it out in a little bit. I've been busy. Okay, I can see it. You know, we and you get a sense. We all
We'll
feel
go
it.
into
Yeah,
this.
you get a
don't
sense.
yeah,
and
we'll
so
really go into this.
and then at that point is when I used to teach a little class that I learned from a class that I took of going through each of the chakras and filling it with energy. And I don't do that till I do this part first. But at this point, let's just say that when you connect the top of your head with your intention to what you want to manifest, what you want to change in your life, what is going to heal you, and you, most of the time we don't even know till we start the journey. And any of those things, this is yours. That's why it's a gift. You get to do it.
There's
You
really
get
no
to choose.
mistakes, yeah.
What?
There's really no mistakes.
And there's no mistakes. Yeah, there's no mistakes because every time you bump into, every time mistake you make, you learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you wouldn't have known that if you
keep
hadn't.
tweaking.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like wherever you were, that's wherever you're going, whatever you are now. I just hear the words are beyond love, and it's okay. It's something inside of you. Look inside that heart, look inside that magnificent creature that you are, that is unique on this planet, because we humans have been given the choice, the ability to choose if we think dark or light. We're the only creatures on this planet that do that. That's why this stuff's happening.
Yeah.
So we get to where it's like this is a big wake-up call for us to choose a higher vibration. And higher vibration just means letting go of fear, letting in happiness. And so bring in from that top chakra, bring in your intention and your dream of where you want to go. And I'll go another time through the steps of working with light through the chakras.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, like Lorraine mentioned, and I would say again, is design your own way of doing this. You got a lot of tips from the way Lorraine does it. You can't leave your breath out of it. You can't leave your soul out of it. That's what it's all about. Your breath is your soul as it manifests. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Your breath is your soul as it manifests on earth. Boy, I have an accommodating cameraman, then he switched it back. Whoa!
Which is great, yeah.
That's all right. I love George. George from Maui, George Burnett is my cameraman, and he's fabulous, and he's always up for volunteering. Actually, we're all volunteering this, but I just really want to thank George while we're at it here for doing this. And appreciating our Kaku Studios for being here and being our public access channel and having this fabulous studio with these amazing cameras and the whole thing, and the amazing tech people that are crewing in the back. Okay. So, it's...
Should we mention our names again, or does it come up on the screen?
They've been putting the...
Oh, so they let us know. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm newer to this.
George is doing that. Yeah, that's great. So mine, I've gotten to the point where I did a lot of, when I initiated my spiritual climb in the 90s, I did read a lot about, and I really did get far with using a lot of the things that I was reading about, and I like the golden rain. I would picture a golden rain. But like I said, your breath is number one. That has to be part of centering. Without that, you're not going to get there, because that's literally your life force as it manifests on the planet. So I also believe that the most important parts of this that you can't leave out is the grounding and the breathing. And focusing on your center. So, like you said, you get more of what you focus on. So that's why You want to focus on the center to keep expanding that and expanding your connection to it, your ability to return to it whenever you need to. And your center is love, and we will talk about that because human love and cosmic love are two different things. That's why it's kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I got a download about that when I was writing my first book in 2014. And it has a lot to do with the Course in Miracles. So if you want to kind of rush into that, you can pick up a copy of A Course in Miracles. And it says, but now that you've learned, you've removed all your blockages to the awareness of love's presence, that's only the beginning. Because we really are moving into a whole new way of living on this planet. As people open up their hearts and start to live with their soul, it's going to be a whole new, and many people such as myself believe that this is the moment, this is when heaven on earth is being born. And each one of us has something to bring forth. And so these centering and grounding, starting your day, your soul will show you what your purpose is. I've often sent people out who I do readings for. I say, just walk around the mall and just do nothing but think about what is my purpose. And the way people talk to you and engage with you is going to start giving you some hints as to what, if they're asking you for directions and that, that means you're some kind of a person who's supposed to be leading. So your soul will show you, but you have to start the day with that intent that, I'm going to, let's see what the journey has for me, and it will be shown to you, it'll come through you, and the more you practice it and stay connected to your breath and stay grounded, because we get in the reason we want to stay connected and keep our soul connected to earth is when we get in our head, we're literally like drifting off into the astral planes. We'll do a whole show about the astral planes and all that kind of stuff. But you're literally going off into the astral planes. That's the reason for the grounding. But I have only found recently that I just relish grounding with earth. So I start my day, and I did this morning before the show, on the sand on the beach. And you can walk anywhere on the ground. Earthing movie, remember, watch that. But also, end of the day, I end it walking on the earth and connecting with the stars and connecting with the ocean. That's what I do. But I really got far, even in a big concrete city, just using the visualization for my clearing and healing. So you come up with what works in your situation. Some people might want to get one of those grounding mats, because they do the same thing. It's that extra plug on the prongs. It's
I have a friend who's like, so incredible. I mean, just such. Like an angel on this planet, and she's a grounding mat because she has huge troubles with the energies of all these discordant energies. Yeah. And I'm like, well, wait, I was blasting the TV doing math, and it's like, I just bounce it right off. But it's like people are different, and it doesn't work for me. It works for her.
Yeah.
And
right.
it worked, and it's like, and I think it would probably work for most people.
Probably, and I think it might be even a little more subtle. When I step onto the sand or the grass, I can definitely feel.
Oh,
into the.
I was thinking
that's the best way if you can. Yeah, but the grounding mat.
Yeah.
But I understand it though, because it is electrical. And the whole concept of earthing is electrical, as Lorraine alluded to. So I hope that we've given you enough to encourage you that this is a journey worth taking, and that that you're looking forward to it, and understand that there's benefits to this. There's tremendous benefits to it. Like we had mentioned, we both been through I've been through like 3 or 4 major burnouts in my life. When I got off track, I got back on track. Your energy gets restored, your clarity, like I said, your health, your, it's really, really worth it. And the happiness, and it's the happiness and joy you get in every moment by being heart-centered. And sharing that with the world. It's a singular journey, but it's not selfish because it benefits humanity. So what would you like to say in closing?
That this is... every time we think of pain, nobody wants to feel pain. And that's why we keep feeling it. Because we're not feeling it, we're not healing it, we're not dealing with it.
Right.
And so all of these things I'm talking about, they just will bring up every time you touch something with that lighter energy, if there's some lower energy, it's going to bubble up. Why you think this cataclysmic stuff's happening all around us right now? It's time for the change. And catalysm, a catalyst is what makes something change. Otherwise, if it's all balanced, it's
So
not
the
going
higher
to change.
energies are the catalyst.
The higher energies are the catalyst. So they're going to bring up things as you work on yourself.
Yourself and the planet.
And you have to have the courage to keep going through. And maybe you can't do it that day. That's fine. You've got, just keep going. Just have a plan to keep going. And bit by bit, like Alana was talking about, she would have just this little piece, this little bite, work on these little bits. Just take it in bite-sized bits.
Yeah.
And because you've got to enjoy it. It's like if you've never, I'm going to run a marathon. Well, I don't even walk around the block, right? So you start with that first few steps, and then maybe you can run 10 feet, and then in 3 weeks you can run a quarter of a mile. You just keep building yourself up. But the thing of it is, love where you're at. Just say,
Love and
wow.
accept where you're at. Yeah.
It's just empowering just to even start.
Yeah.
And never think about being far out there at the end of it all, because that's exactly where your where the chasm is, where the divide is. It's
You
just
can only start from this moment.
Right,
so
this moment.
you got to be accepting it. If it's painful, express the pain, work through it, and you'll get through it. It's a journey, and it's definitely worth taking. I heard somebody say once that it's a road less traveled because it doesn't lead anywhere, but actually it does. You just have to make sure that you learn to love the process of everything. So that's all we have for this time. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna talk about all these subjects individually, and then we'll see you next time. Aloha.